Now let's continue our examination of the law and the politics behind the crisis in Rivers State. It's like a sort of menacing film noir, isn't it? The callous, almost cheerful indifference and disregard that Nigerian politicians show for the constitution of this land and the way they blithely try to pull the wool over the eyes of the electorate to whom they owe their office. It's raised questions about whether President Tinubu himself, who is supposed to be the ultimate guardian of the law, is also, in the context of Rivers State, overruling the Constitution. And not only that, the president appears to be overreaching by brazenly interfering in the internal affairs of another party, in this case, the main opposition PDP, the party to which both Minister Wike and Governor Fubara belong. Well, the PDP isn't having it. As you heard earlier on the program, the party is talking tough as nails against Minister Wike, his loyalists, and President Tinubu. How on earth, asked the PDP party chieftain Dele Momodu, can the president be allowed to intervene in the internal affairs of this country's main opposition party? What manner of democracy are they practicing in Nigeria? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the lawyer, political commentator, and APC member, Rilwan Okpanachi, and by the journalist, political affairs commentator, and Arise News analyst, Dr. Constance Ikokwu. Thank you very much indeed to both of you. Let me start with you, Mr. Okpanachi. From the point of view of your membership of the APC, what do you make of the crisis in Rivers State and the rather sort of grubby fallout from that dispute? I mean, I know you're not a spokesperson for the APC, but you are an APC member. Let's be clear on that.
Yeah, though I'm here to discuss the law and the political angle to the crisis in Rivers State. It is normal as far as Nigeria is concerned. And it is expected. Why am I saying so? Because if we leverage on our experience with regards to imposition of leaders, governors, you will envisage that this problem will happen, as it has happened. You go to Kano State when Ganduje succeeded Kwankwaso. You go to Edo State where the President Governor Obaseki succeeded Oshomole. And now it's happening in Rivers State. One, I don't pity, the political godson who is facing this kind of situation because of the way and manner, he or she emerged as a governor or as a leader. You know quite well that, you are not the best. You may not, be the best intellectually, financially, even in terms of goodwill. But the governor, bulldoze his way to impose you, and this is happening. So that is why we're also not joining condemning a political godfather because of what they passed through to impose their people. And for instance, let me take you to what is going on in Kogi State, if you permit me. Tomorrow I'll be very sensitive to join those that will condemn Governor Yabelo. If he's fighting with...
even though he's a member of your party?
Yes. Even I will not join people in condemning him if he's fighting the governor-elect because of the way and manner he brought him, right. What he sacrificed to bring the man to bear. The fact that the people were robbed, mandate stolen and given to him, INEC office attacked and burned down because of him. INEC court officials were robbed, the tribunal officials were robbed with their petitions stolen because of him. So then by tomorrow you now have the nerve to fight this man that committed all these illegalities, atrocities because of you. That is why I will not envy, I will not support any godson that is behaving the way.
Right, but let's also be clear for the benefit of our audience that although you're an APC member, you're a lawyer who represents the SDP candidate in Kogi State.
Yes.
So let's be clear as to why you're taking the side that you're taking. I mean, I'm not questioning whether you're... I mean, there's truth in what you're saying or not. I'm just making it clear so the audience know, the background
that I'm coming from. So now you look at what he passed through to install this man.
Right.
Look at what Wike passed through to install this governor. Look at what Oshomole passed through to impose Obaseki. And that is why I will not join in criticizing or condemning political godson. I don't support that. I encourage political leaders, political godfathers, to allow free and fair process for our leaders to emerge.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yes, that is my own position.
So let me come to you, Dr. Constance Ikokwu, from the point of view of our down the middle analyst. How do you see this crisis in Rivers State and the subsequent peace accord that's been signed?
Well, to many observers, I think that what is going on in Rivers State is wild and scandalous. And I think that it demonstrates how far politicians will go and what they are willing to do in order to capture state power. What is going on, I think it's tragic, and a lot of people think it's tragic. It's almost like a godlike, tyrannical department where you march out orders and expect no one to push back from what you're saying. And when you look at President Bola Tinubu and Minister Nyesom Wike, what they are asking Governor Fubara to do, I do not think that any of them would do that if they were in his shoes. And I think that is why there is a groundswell of condemnation from the people of Rivers State, because they think that the rug has been pulled from under the executive governor before their eyes. There is the feeling that Governor Fubara went to Abuja and exercised poor judgment in signing the accord that was brokered by President Tinubu and gave away everything. He seemed to be, or to have been, in a strong position until now. And so that is why they're also saying that maybe the president, yes, some asked him to intervene. Maybe now he needs to backpedal, because there are several angles to this issue. So there is the angle of the federal might and the state. So Wike seems to be wanting to use the federal might to intimidate the governor at the state level. He is an ally of the president, and that's what is playing out. And then you also have interest. Wike has interest. He wants to be president. He wants to be vice president, whichever falls on his lap. And then you also have the president, who has interest. He is an APC member. He had the support of Wike to win Rivers State in the last presidential elections, although there were allegations of manipulation. Whatever it was, the state was handed to APC. And so he will be delighted if, after all this crisis, the state falls to APC. And then now you begin to ask, where is PDP in all of this? Because it seems like all these machinations seems to be geared towards that particular objective.
Very interesting. And Mr. Okpanachi, from a legal point of view, it seems clear as polished glass that there was a good measure of unconstitutionality in that agreement, or do you see it differently?
There's nothing unconstitutional about the agreement. There's not. The president is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Rivers State is a state under the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the president has that responsibility to ensure that there is peace and orderliness in any part of the nation. And this matter is not an intra-party issue. As far as I'm concerned, it has to do with governance of a state.
You've seen the document, haven't you?
I've seen the document.
Yeah, I mean, the bits where, for example, the lawmakers who had already voluntarily submitted their resignations.
Not lawmakers, the commissioners.
No. The 25 people, members of the State House of Assembly, who said that they were
resigning from PDP.
Yeah, resigning from PDP, which automatically, constitutionally, means that they've lost their seats. And their seats were declared vacant by the court-appointed Speaker of the House, which means that he had the authority to do that. Subsequently, the agreement is saying that they should be given back their full benefits.
You see, it is not automatic, as you have said. The
constitution
is very clear. And let me speak,
sure,
as a lawyer.
Yeah, of course.
The constitution is very clear. You see, when on that is section 109, paragraph G.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at it, there's a proviso to that session.
Yes.
The session, has to be interpreted in two folds.
Yeah.
One, if you defect from your political party to another political party without giving any reason, it is automatic.
No. They didn't say without giving
any
reason.
Excuse me, sir.
It
says if you defect from one party to another party that sponsored you, you are deemed to have vacated your seats. Provided,
unless there is clear division.
Unless that is why I say you have to look at it from two perspectives. The first perspective is that if a member defects to another party without any reason or without proffering any reason, you are deemed to have vacated your office. But when a member says, I am leaving because of division or crack in my party.
Yeah, but you still have to prove that there is a division.
And where are you proving it?
You don't just say it.
Excuse me, sir. Where are you proving it? It's in the court of law.
Yeah, of course.
But that is why it is sensitive. That is why it is delicate. A Speaker of House of Assembly or House of Representatives or Senate President cannot declare a seat of a member who is defecting on the ground of division in his party. Because whether you like it or not, it has to be determined whether indeed there was a division or not leading to his defection. And it's not a matter for the State House of Assembly. What the State House of Assembly can do, or every citizen of this country can do, because it's a constitutional matter, is to approach the court of law to determine whether indeed there was a division in the party before such a person defected. It's a different ball game if there is no reason proffered. If the man simply said, I'm tired of this party and I'm leaving without giving any reason, then the law can be applied as it is. But when the law says there's a mischief for which that session was introduced, that proviso was introduced, when you now give the reason, then the court has to determine. It is the court that cannot declare the seat vacant after determining that there was no division as alleged.
Right. So you detect divisions, do you, in the party that would justify their retention of their seats?
If you ask for my personal opinion as a person, whether as it is there is a division in PDP or not leading to their defection, I will tell you honestly that there's no division in the PDP. The division as envisaged by the Constitution and as interpreted by the Supreme Court means a division that is strengthening the very existence
all the way from the top
party,
to the bottom.
Yeah. So there is no division. But once a member has given a reason of division in his party, such a member
they have the right to take it to court and have a court determine the veracity of that
member of the House, including the PDP as a political party, has a right to approach the court of law.
I think you've made the point, and some would agree with the point that you're making. Let me come to you. I apologize that we've taken, but I needed to be clear on what we're saying because it's supposed to be a balanced interview. What do you reckon?
Well, he is the lawyer, and I mean, so many lawyers have been talking about the same thing, whether there was a division or not. Clearly, there is no division in the party. So this is more about political squabbles, power play, naked ambition, the 2027 election, power, and positions in no particular order. That's what this is about. And I think that it's a difficult situation both for Minister Wike and President Tinubu and Governor Fubara. And I think when you look at the political history of the president, for instance, your first guest alluded to it. He was a man that during his tenure as governor of Lagos State, he stood his ground for his party and for his state. And so anybody that looks at Governor Fubara will say, you have to swim or sink. Then you have to get the backbone to fight this political battle of your life. I mean, and then you also look at other states where it happened. I remember when I was a reporter, in Enugu State, for instance, there was that big battle between Governor Chimaroke Namani and Chief Jim Nwobodo, who was his political godfather. And so he fought that battle, and Jim Nwobodo disappeared or vanished from the political space of that state. What this tells us is that as an executive governor, you have what it is or what you need to fight this kind of crisis. And if you understand the power that you have, you will get up and do what you need to do. And in most cases in the past, the governors always won. Exactly, they always won. So there is no need to cower to anybody. Minister Wike, for instance, he will not cower or kowtow to anybody at all. He had this enemy situation with former minister Rotimi Amechi and some other people. So you would not expect that to also happen in this situation. And that is why Reversible are saying, and the elders and everybody, that Sim Fubara needs to get up and move it on.
We've only got a couple of minutes. I apologize that we're running out of time. But, I mean, you talked about this at the beginning when you went through what is happening in Kogi and Kano, and you sort of touched on it. But what do you think is the significance of what is happening there in relation to this country's democracy? I mean, beyond the scholarly debates that we're having about it.
It is unfortunate that we are still experiencing this. By now, we expected our democracy to have outgrown this, but rather than growing, we are retrogressing. I want to align with what your previous speaker said. We are not making progress as far as democracy is concerned. The leaders are not doing what they ought to do. They are not encouraging democracy. And like I said, we should encourage people to be ingrates. You see, we should not be, condemning. I don't support Wike for any reason. I'm not his fan. But why, in as much as we condemn Wike, we must also condemn the governor. The way he knew how he came into that office. It wasn't the best way. And that is why he's smart for signing that agreement. As far as I'm concerned, this is just the first phase of the battle. The battle has not been settled. It's just on the surface. It will come back. He knew how he got to that office.
Well, maybe you should apply to be one of the representatives
in
the case. That will make our interviews with you much more exciting.
He knew how he got to the office. I know when you say this, we have a different regime, we have a different president. He appreciates the fact that this president is not just a president, he's a politician to the core. And he knows how to play the game.
Right.
And that's why the governor is smart by signing that peace deal, by respecting the president. Well, it would have been a total disrespect to the president to call you and advise you, let's settle this matter at the table, and you said, no, I won't settle. The consequences will be more. But for me, having he should leverage on his knowledge or experience of the way and manner he came that office. Right. He cannot just wake up today and say you want to man up to where.
Okay,
and that's we've got about a minute. Transparent process of people emerging as governor of states or any position you want to become.
We've got about a minute. A final word from you.
I think this is where we have to talk about the responsibility of the party. Do you have a party where the members are bigger than them? Bigger than the party? Do you have a party where members are loose cannons, where whether they're elected or appointed officials, the party cannot call them to order? We have to have a code of conduct within the parties, and they have to be able to wield the big stick early enough, not when the whole house has been pulled down. So it's very important that parties rearrange themselves and make sure that they have the power and do their jobs as parties.
And on Mr. Charles, please let me add to what you said.
Literally 10 seconds.
Yes. You see, I support what she said. And the best way to do it is that the party must be bold enough to reject members who illegally defect to their party. That is where to show leadership.
Good points from
That's
both
where to show leadership.
I want to thank you guys very much indeed. Okpanachi is a lawyer, political commentator, and APC member. And of course, Dr. Constance Ikokwu is a journalist, political affairs commentator, and Arise News analyst. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja and Lagos, bye-bye, and thank you for watching.